Hi, I'm Ariel. You're watching She Wants the Diction, and today I'm going to be talking about books that I freaking hated. I've done a couple videos where I talked about books that I did not finish, but I just want to go ahead and give some disclaimers because I feel like I've had a lot of idiots in my comments on these type of videos. If you're someone that thinks that you can't have an opinion on a book just because you didn't finish it, this is not going to be the video for you. I feel like you're allowed to have an opinion on whatever you read, and I never said when I talk about books that I didn't finish that I have an opinion on the work as a whole. I am literally disclosing to you that I did not finish the book, and so yeah, never claimed to have an opinion on the whole work, so I just feel like I can say whatever I want. And then also, if you're someone who's like, oh, I only want to hear positive and positivity and I don't want to hear any negativity and I hate rant reviews, then also not the video for you. So just throwing it out there because I'm really tired of these type of people in my comments. So yeah, that's that, and let's talk about books I hated. First up is Quit Like a Woman, The Radical Choice to Not Drink in a Culture Obsessed with Alcohol. This is by someone named Whitaker. I got into like this kind of, I don't know, phase, I guess, where I was reading like a bunch of addiction memoirs. For some reason, I don't know why. It's not really something I've ever read before a lot, but I don't know, just kind of caught my attention. And the reason that I chose not to finish this one is because the author seemed low-key kind of like a transphobe. And the reason I think this is because she was constantly equating womanhood to owning a pussy. Not necessarily true. And the fact that she also would occasionally like drop remarks about needing to include trans people, but then also being like, stay out of my pussy, you know, like it just rung really hollow for me. And it was just kind of gross, and I did not want to continue with it. So that's the reason why I ditched that one. The next one is The Longing for Less, Living with Minimalism by Chayka. I'm gonna just fuck up these names all over the place. But basically this was kind of a nonfiction book talking about the origins of minimalism, I guess kind of like critiquing minimalism and the problems that there supposedly is with it. I'm not saying minimalism is like some kind of perfect movement and it's the answer to everything, but this guy was coming at it from the perspective of an art critic. And while I kind of agreed with the points that he was making about, well, maybe you don't really like minimalism, it's just you don't have access to the amount of things that you want within a capitalist society, so you convince yourself that you're better off living with less, just because, you know, you can't access it or you have to work really hard to access it. And I was like, you may be onto something there. But at the same time, then he started going into these art history critiques of the movement and started mentioning a bunch of like paintings and architecture, and there were no pictures. I had no context for any of this. Like, you know, I don't have an art history degree. I don't know what this guy's talking about. And I was like, I am not going to Google every other sentence what the fuck this guy is talking about. Why didn't he just put pictures, insert pictures into this book? And then I just like lost interest. So fuck that, I guess. I mean, I was interested in reading some critiques of minimalism because obviously I don't think it's the answer to everything, but oh yeah, and I started on audio Bunny by Mona Awad, and I feel like this is kind of like a booktube darling in that everyone loves this book and gushes about it, and people that I'm friends with love it. And so I started the audio and I was just like, I'm bored. Like literally instantly. Like this is what people have been classifying as dark academia, which don't ask me if that's actually a genre or not because I have no fucking idea. I feel like it's just a term that like book people made up, but basically it's for any kind of horror-ish, creepy, fucked up story that's set, I guess, on a college campus, in a school setting, whatever you want to fucking call it. And I don't know, I was just instantly bored. Like, I just didn't care about any of it. And I don't know if that's just because, like, I'm not in school. I don't know if it's just that I don't really like horror. I don't know what it was, but I just, like, was not feeling this. Like, I was not feeling the fact that she's trying to get in with this cult that all call each other the bunnies. And yeah, I just don't care. I already went and watched, I think it was Sage Reed's video, and so I already know what happens in it. Like, I just spoiled myself because I was like, I don't give a fuck. What was the big deal about this book? So yeah, that's that. I don't know if dark academia is for me, guys. Okay, and the next one I ditched. This is How You Lose the Time War. This is by a couple different people, and I've heard things about this, like, I guess being gay and sci-fi, and that was all I really knew about it. So I guess they co-authored this, and it's really annoying to me, okay? No offense if you liked this book, but it's basically, I guess, epistolary format in that these two characters are writing letters back and forth, and they're both on different sides of the war. One of them is called Red, and one of them is called Blue. Really annoys me that they can't just give them names. Like, I kept getting confused on which person was who. And I don't know if I'm just an idiot. Like, I really feel like this was not a good choice to be listening to at work because, like, I feel like I need, like, something simpler. And I feel like this book was so, like, I don't know, like, detailed. And just, like, I feel like I needed to be devoting my full concentration to it. And when I'm listening to an audiobook while doing other shit, like, that's not what I'm doing. I feel like people who really enjoy, like, sort of love-hate or, like, enemies to lovers type shit are gonna love this, but I was like, I can't even keep straight who is who. I'm not gonna sit down and devote my whole concentration to this, so I guess I'm just gonna fuck off. More things I did not finish. The Last Black Unicorn by Tiffany Haddish, and this is her, I guess, memoir, autobiography, I don't know what to call it. She reads it. I was listening to the audiobook. I actually found it quite interesting. Like, I only know her from the voice acting that she did on Tuca and Birdie. And based on this memoir, I feel like she is literally her character on that show. Like, she was literally the exact same. So, I don't know. Like, that's just how I felt. And I mean, like, it was interesting getting to know that she had, like, I guess she had a really hard childhood. And then also it's kind of sad because, like, her mom is mentally ill and she tells a lot of stories about that, like, throughout the book. And, like, I think that she probably wasn't getting the help that she needed because she didn't have the financial means and, you know, she's a black woman and just, I feel like there were multiple layers to that, so it was really sad. And then she herself also went through, like, a lot of abuse. So I was like, I definitely, like, sympathize with her there. But then she had this whole chapter that was about how she dated someone with a disability, and the way that she talked about him was just, like, really disrespectful, as in, like, using the R slur. And she was doing this voice for him that was, like, the worst. Like, it was literally the worst. I was like, okay, I get that her brand of humor is, like, slightly not politically correct, but this is, like, real bad. Like, I'm literally looking at the reviews and I'm like, how the fuck does this book have, like, 4 stars? Like, did anyone notice how fucked up this was? And, like, I just kept waiting for it to stop, and, like, it would not. Like, it would not. She would not quit doing the fucking voice. She would not quit talking about him using the R word. Like, I was like, I'm done. I can't anymore with her. Like, as I kept listening, more and more of the stories just got, like, it seemed like just a bunch of petty drama. And I was like, I don't care how, you know, your ex cheated, that's terrible, but, like, I don't want to hear about all the revenge you took on him by pooping in a shoe. And I don't, you know, like, it was just, like, drama. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I feel bad for the way you grew up, but, like, damn, this is, like, petty drama, you know? And so I just could not take it anymore. I can't believe that no one said anything about the rampant ableism in this fucking book. So, the next thing I did not finish, Surrender White People Are Unconditional Terms for Peace by D.L. Hughley and Doug Moe. And I have read D.L. Hughley before, and I really liked How Not to Get Shot. I thought that was, like, a fantastic, like, I guess you want to call it satire, I don't know. But anyway, the reason I did not finish this one is, even if you're a minority, I feel like you're not allowed to use slurs for other minorities, even if you're trying to frame it in a comedic manner. And so he used a slur for Asian people, and I was like, this is not cool, dude. Like, this is literally racism against another group. And you being comedic or you also being black and, you know, marginalized does not give you permission to do that. And so I was like, I'm done. You know, like, and it was very disappointing because I really, really loved How Not to Get Shot, but I'm just not gonna fucking read that. Like, I'm just not. Pizza Girl, I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name, but I didn't finish this, and I talked about it a little bit on Instagram already. Basically, I don't like books where they do things to kind of intentionally gross the viewer out. And one of the things that was talked about in here, like, the protagonist is pregnant, which is already, like, you know, my worst nightmare. Like, she's a pregnant teen, and so there's a passage where she, like, talks about barfing up a whole pepperoni, and I was just like, stop. Like, literally stop. I mean, that combined with, like, pregnancy and babies is just, like, the worst. I was like, there was this really awkward passage where she has, like, terrible sex with whoever she's, her boyfriend, I guess. I don't know if they were dating or not, but to make things even worse, the entire time she's thinking about some other chick. And I was like, this is the worst. This is so uncomfortable. This is so awkward. Like, I can't. I just, that and the barfed up pepperoni, I was like, bro, I'm out. I don't understand people who were, like, sucking this book's dick because the fuck? I don't know. I just can't, I don't want to do the nastiness. I don't want to do the secondhand embarrassment. I just don't. Okay, I'm still going. How can one person hate so many things? Okay, the next one I've got is By Any Means Necessary by Candice Montgomery. This was the group read for Latinx-a-thon, and I did not finish it. The reason being that this is a very, I guess, voice-driven novel in which if you don't like the main character's voice and the really extra quirky way that he is, like, you're not gonna like the book. And I also feel like there was a lot of like social media, like not that I have anything against social media being incorporated into books, because I think it's an important part of like most teens' lives. Like I get that, but at the same time, like it's really boring when the story is happening through like messages, like online messages. And then I also just felt like a lot of the internet stuff that was talked about wasn't really like realistic. I think they said something about like they were sending videos through Vine, and I'm like, well, if this is supposed to be set in like the past couple of years, Vine went out of business, so shouldn't it be TikTok? Just little stuff like that that really bothered me, that I was just like, this is not realistic, and this guy's annoying the piss out of me. Even more. Oh, Mouthful of Birds. This was a short story collection by Samanta Schweblin. I don't know how to say her name, but I finished both of her novels, Little Eyes and then also Fever Dream. And I kind of knew going in based on the title that I probably wouldn't like this, but I was like, oh, if I can read everything by her all at once, that'd be cool. And so yeah, it's magical realism, and I found that I don't really like magical realism. Like, or that thing in short stories where they're like, I'm just going to write something as weird as possible. Like, for example, the title story is about a teenage girl that just eats birds, and like there's no explanation. Like her dad just has to like go get her a bird and like feed. It's so weird. Like, I feel like short stories do this thing where it's like, I don't need to tell a good story. I can just weird people out and it'll be amazing. And then they just do that for every single one. And I'm like, well, what was the fucking point? Like, why am I supposed to care? I don't care. And I'm not sure if I'm right about this or not, but it kind of seems like this is an earlier work of hers. So the writing is not nearly as good. And I don't know. I skimmed a couple stories and I was like, this is not doing it for me. And then I abandoned it. What else? Oh, we still going. Is this enough yet? Oh, Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey. Again, I feel like in the book community, this is a very beloved author, a very beloved book. And I mean, when I hear a premise that's like queer librarians in the Wild West, I'm like, I'm there, you know? Like, I am literally there. I don't care what the fucking plot is. I'm there. I don't know what it was. I started this book and immediately I hated the narrator. I hated whatever was happening. Like, I think that is the fastest that I have ever exited an audiobook. And I can't even tell you guys if I was just in the wrong mood, what my problem was, but like, I didn't like it. There you go. I hate somebody's fave. Come for me. I already know you will. It's fine. We don't all have to like the same shit. Oh, The Vanishing Half by Bennett, which everyone has been nutting over lately. Should I say nutting? No, probably not. I stick to what I said. Everyone's been nutting over this book lately, and I don't know, I was just bored. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, there's these two sisters and, you know, one wants to be white passing and one doesn't. And just like, from that premise already, I'm already bored. Like, I just didn't care. I mean, if you're gonna read a book, the other overhyped book, which I think is actually deserving a lot of praise, is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid. As opposed to reading The Vanishing Half, I would recommend that one because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it was better in every way. It was more engaging. The characters were more interesting. So obviously I could keep going with this. These aren't all the books that I have abandoned over like the past couple of months, but it is a lot of them. And if I kept talking, this video would probably be like twice as long. So that's just to give you an idea of things that I freaking hated. And if I hated your fave, I'm sorry, but don't get hurt. You know, like you clicked a video with hate in the title, you know, so you know what you're getting yourself into. It's been a long time since I did a hate video, and I'm very happy to go back to the origins of my channel to some extent, which was like judging books that I didn't like. Okay, well, I better go because there's literally people. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week with another video. Peace.